The story begins in a town in England. The year is 1944. At that time, World War II was raging across many countries. Here, we see a party. Everyone at the party is having a great time. Among them is a young woman named Margaret. But just then, the air raid siren suddenly goes off. All the lights immediately shut off, leaving the place in complete darkness. Panic instantly breaks out among the crowd. Everyone starts running to save their lives. Since World War II is still going on, German soldiers are launching air raids on England. They are dropping bombs all over the city. Now we see a group of German soldiers. The year is now 1945, the final year of World War II. Among these soldiers, we meet a man named Ward. They are fighting against the English army, but suddenly a bomb explodes right there. As a result, almost all of the German soldiers are killed. The surviving soldiers are captured and taken to a prison in England. Ward is one of the prisoners in that prison. The English officers tell all the German prisoners, "Because of the destruction your attacks have caused, you'll now work to make up for the damage. Wherever we send you, that's where you'll work with your camp. And if anyone dares to disobey our orders, they'll face severe punishment." On his very first day in prison, Ward meets another Nazi soldier. The soldier tells Ward that German prisoners have no value here. The Nazis run everything inside this prison. In other words, whatever the Nazis want is exactly what happens here. But Ward doesn't seem to care about any of it. The next day, an officer calls Ward into his office. The officer's name is Smith. Smith shows Ward a German medal with a cross on it and says, "We found this medal on your uniform. What did you do to earn it?" But Ward doesn't answer the question. Smith says, "Even after everything that's happened, you people still haven't lost your attitude. If I had the authority, I'd shoot every last one of you and bury you in the ground." Hearing that, Ward gives a slight smile and says, "Well, then it's a good thing you don't have that authority." Smith becomes furious. As punishment, he orders Ward to clean every toilet in the prison. Ward quietly goes and cleans every single toilet. After that, as he's heading back to his cell, he notices a group of prisoners playing soccer in an open area of the prison. He enjoys watching them for a moment, but since he still has work to do, he heads back to his cell. Inside the cell, a prisoner named Richard is assigned to the top bunk above Ward. Ward walks over to Richard and tells him that he just saw some prisoners playing soccer outside. He says Richard could make a bet with them and win. Richard asks him how. Ward tells him that he's an excellent goalkeeper, so Richard could bet on his performance in goal. Richard takes Ward over to the field. He walks up to the prisoners playing soccer and says he wants to make a bet with them. The bet is that Ward will be the goalkeeper. If they can score even with Ward guarding the goal, they'll win. But if they can't score, Richard wins the bet. Everyone thinks it sounds like an interesting challenge, so they all accept it and start the game. Meanwhile, Margaret, the young woman we saw at the party at the beginning of the movie, arrives at the prison. She has come with her father to deliver supply. Her father's name is Jack. While Jack is unloading the supplies, he notices Ward. At the same time, Margaret is watching the prisoners' game from a distance. One after another, the prisoners try to score, but Ward blocks every single shot. No matter how skilled the players are, none of them can fool Ward or get the ball past him. Seeing this, Margaret walks over to the field. She decides to take a shot herself, but just then, Jack and Smith quickly rush over. Smith gets furious with all the prisoners. He takes the ball away from Ward and orders everyone to get back to work. Meanwhile, Jack is also furious with his daughter, Margaret. He warns her to stay away from the German prisoner. A few days later, one night, Smith calls all the prisoners outside. Then, with a smile on his face, he announces, "The war between England and Germany is over. Germany has surrendered to England, but that doesn't mean we're letting you go. Every one of you will receive the punishment you deserve." A few days later, Jack is watching one of his soccer team's matches. The team actually belongs to him. He has even brought a sponsor along to watch them play, but the team's goalkeeper is performing terribly. His name is Alfredo. Alfredo can't stop a single shot. Seeing such a poor performance, the sponsor gets frustrated and leaves. Meanwhile, we meet the team's captain, Bill. Bill and Jack's daughter, Margaret, are in love. Alfredo's girlfriend is also there with Margaret. Her name is Jessie. That evening, Margaret goes to a party. Her father drives her there. The team has another match the next day, so Jack wants Margaret and the rest of the team to get a good night's rest. After all, Margaret has brought the entire team to the party, but she goes to the party anyway. Just then, one of Jack's old friends comes to see him. The man sells sheep. He's trying to sell some to Jack as well, but Jack says, "You always ask too much for your sheep. There's no way I can afford to buy them at that price." Then Jack offers him a much lower price. The man gets furious. He says, "Fine, I'll sell you my sheep for the price you offered if your lousy soccer team wins tomorrow's match, but if they lose, you'll have to buy my sheep for the price I asked." After saying that, the man walks away. Jack immediately rushes to the party. The entire team is busy enjoying themselves. He tells everyone to go home and get some rest. He says they have to perform their best in tomorrow's match. Everyone reluctantly leaves, but Jack's goalkeeper, Alfredo, refuses to listen to him. As a result, Jack and Alfredo get into an argument. Margaret quickly steps in and takes her father away. The next day, after giving it a lot of thought, Jack goes to the prison. He talks to Smith about Ward. Since his team no longer has a goalkeeper, he asks Smith for permission to take Ward with him. While they're in the car, Jack tells Ward, "You Germans are our enemies, so don't mistake my kindness for friendship. I brought you here for one reason. From now on, you'll do exactly what I tell you." After that, Jack brings him to a place and gets out of the car. He warns Ward before taking him any farther. He says he's about to take him to where his soccer team is waiting. Ward will have to play with the team today, but under no circumstances is he allowed to speak. Jack will tell everyone that Ward has a throat problem, because if he talks, everyone will find out that he's German. So he has to keep his identity a secret, but Ward refuses. He says there's no way he can hide who he is. Jack gets angry and says, "Fine, what do you want? Do you want to spend your days back in prison cleaning toilets, or do you want to play soccer for my team?" Ward replies that he wants to play soccer. So Jack takes Ward to meet the rest of the team. But once they get there, Ward accidentally speaks. It doesn't take long for everyone on Jack's team to realize that Ward is German. Because of that, none of them wants to play with him. They all hate German. Still, Jack tries to explain how important today's match is. He tells them the team doesn't have a goalkeeper, so they have no choice but to play with the new player. Even though everyone keeps looking down on Ward and insulting him, they eventually have no choice but to accept him. The whole team heads straight to the soccer field, where the match is about to begin. Even though Ward is an outstanding goalkeeper, he's feeling very nervous today. After all, this is a huge match. And on top of that, he's playing for a country that was once his enemy. A few moments later, the match begins. The opposing team tries to distract Ward so they can score. At first, Ward is extremely nervous, but the moment the ball comes anywhere near him, it's like a whole new energy takes over. He starts stopping one shot after another with incredible skill. Ward delivers an outstanding performance. Seeing this, Jack is so impressed that he starts clapping for him. Even the leader of their team is amazed by the way Ward is playing. Meanwhile, the opposing team realizes that their opponent's goalkeeper is incredibly skilled, so they start playing much more carefully. They even try using different strategies to score. But no matter which direction they shoot from, Ward manages to stop every single shot. The crowd is amazed by Ward's performance. They all start cheering for him. They've never seen such a talented goalkeeper before. At the same time, the team's owner notices that Ward isn't just great at making saves. He also has the ability to launch attacks with long, accurate throws. On top of that, he can precisely pass the ball to his teammates. That makes it much easier for the team to launch quick counterattack. The team takes full advantage of the opportunity and starts playing exceptionally well. Every time Ward catches the ball, he throws it toward his teammates. As a result, they easily get past the opposing goalkeeper and score. Their score starts climbing very quickly. Before long, they win the match. That also means Jack wins the bet with the friend who challenged him the day before. Thanks to Ward's incredible performance, the team scores more goals than ever before. In fact, it becomes the highest score in the team's history. Jack is secretly very pleased with Ward. Later, as Jack is taking Ward back to the prison, Ward says, "If you'd like, I can keep playing for your team. I can perform even better than I did today. Your soccer team could become famous all over the world, but for that to happen, you'll have to get me out of prison." After saying that, Ward walks away. When Jack returns home, he finds his daughter Margaret furious with him. She doesn't like the fact that her father brought a German player onto their team, and it's not just Margaret. Jack's entire family is upset with him. None of them likes German soldiers. Still, Jack tries to explain. He tells them that not every German soldier is the same. Besides that, Ward played an incredible game for the team today. Jack feels like Ward has been a blessing for them. That's why he believes Ward should be judged as a person, not by his nationality. He doesn't just want Ward on the soccer team. Starting tomorrow, he's also bringing him in to work at their shop. That only makes the rest of the family even angrier. But Jack isn't willing to listen to any of them. A few days later, Jack actually gets Ward released from prison. He gives Ward a job as a salesman at his shop. Even though almost everyone has accepted Ward by now, Margaret still can't. She keeps picking on him every chance she gets. One day she tells Ward, "No matter what you do, you're not going to stay here for long. I'm not going to let you. So you'd better get ready to leave as soon as possible." But Ward barely reacts to what Margaret says. He quietly goes back to his work. One day, Margaret's friend Jessie comes to see her. She has already heard about Ward. She says, "So it's true? You actually gave a German soldier a place in your shop? How could you, as Europeans, do something like that? Have you forgotten what the Germans did to us?" Jessie keeps provoking Margaret against Ward. She wants Ward to leave as soon as possible. After all, Ward has taken the place that used to belong to her boyfriend, Alfredo. After hearing Jessie's words, Margaret becomes even angrier with Ward. From that moment on, she keeps a close eye on everything he does. Meanwhile, Ward becomes good friends with Margaret's younger sister. The two of them spend a lot of time talking together. But when Margaret sees that, she becomes seriously upset with Ward. She walks over to him and says, "Don't ever try to get close to me or anyone in my family. Just because my father gave you a place to stay doesn't mean we've forgiven you. And it definitely doesn't mean we've accepted you as our friend. We'll never forget the cruelty and suffering your people put us through. You stole our youth from us, and you killed so many of the people we loved. When I should have been laughing, playing, and enjoying my childhood like every other kid in the world, we were living in fear of dying every single day because of your people. You took so many of my closest friends away from me. There was a time when you stole our smiles. Every time we went anywhere, we prayed that we'd make it back home alive. And now you're here trying to be our friend?" Ward calmly replies, "What if I told you that everything you just said, your people did the same thing to us? Would you believe me? You took many of the people I loved away from me too. You killed members of my family as well. But even after all that, I never blamed you, because none of it was your fault and none of it was mine. The real blame belongs to a handful of people who started a war that dragged the entire world into chaos. And ordinary people like us were the ones who paid the price. You weren't the only victims. We were victims too, because war never brings peace to any nation." After hearing Ward's words, Margaret has nothing left to say. She realizes that he's right. Meanwhile, Ward walks away and quietly heads into a storage room. Margaret's words had truly hurt him. He understood that she had lost so much because of the war. That's why she carried so much anger toward him, simply because he was German. Just then, Ward notices an old soccer ball in the storage room. He picks it up, goes outside, and starts practicing. Ward spends the entire day helping Jack with all kinds of work. Whenever he gets a little free time, he plays soccer. At the same time, he helps Margaret's younger sister learn how to walk because she can't walk on her own. Ward is an incredibly hard-working man. No matter how badly people treat him, he always responds with kindness. He does his best to help everyone. Seeing all of this, Margaret slowly begins to change the way she sees Ward. Margaret also has several pet birds at the shop that she loves very much. One day, while she is feeding them, one of the birds flies out of its cage. No matter how hard Margaret tries, she can't catch it. Just then, Ward notices what's happening and quickly comes over. He easily catches the bird and gently hands it back to Margaret. That makes Margaret very happy with him. As time goes on, Margaret slowly begins to see Ward as a friend. She often watches him from a distance without him noticing. She realizes that Ward isn't the kind of person she once believed he was. From then on, Ward's life starts going pretty well. During that time, Jack's team has two very important matches. Thanks to Ward, they win both games with outstanding performances. One day at the prison, Smith suddenly arranges for all the prisoners to watch a movie. The film is based on World World War II. It shows how Nazi soldiers massacred innocent people across Europe. It also reveals the horrifying scenes of countless bodies left behind during the war. At that time, German soldiers were commonly referred to as Nazi soldiers. After watching those horrifying scenes, everyone becomes deeply emotional. Ward is reminded of parts of his own past. Even though Ward was a Nazi soldier, he was actually a kind-hearted man. During the war, a group of English children is playing soccer near his military camp. Ward treats them with kindness. He even enjoys watching them play. But then one of the children kicks the ball, and it rolls into the camp. The leader of Ward's unit notices it. He tries to lure the child closer so he can shoot him. But Ward immediately steps in and stands up to his commanding officer. He somehow manages to save the little boy. Even though it puts his own life at great risk, he still chooses to protect the child. The story then returns to the present. At the prison, one of the inmates disguises himself as a woman. He suddenly attacks a former Nazi soldier, who is now also a prisoner. That sparks a massive fight between the German and English prisoner. Meanwhile, Sergeant Smith quietly watches everything without stepping in. Deep down, this is exactly what he wants. He enjoys seeing the German prisoners being abused. The next morning, everyone discovers that the soldier who was attacked the previous day has taken his own life out of shame. Seeing this leaves Ward heartbroken. Ward immediately runs over to Smith. He starts yelling at him and angrily calling him out, because he has already figured out what really happened. Smith intentionally showed that movie the day before to provoke a trap for the former Nazi soldier. So Ward holds Smith responsible for the prisoner's death. He tells him, "You should be ashamed of yourself. The war ended a long time ago. People from both of our countries suffered because of it. But if we can never learn to be better human beings, then the war between people will never truly end." A few police officers then drag Ward away by force. Meanwhile, Smith notices that a small locket has fallen from Ward's pocket. He picks it up and realizes it has the symbol of the occupied territory. It was the symbol used by the people who lived in the parts of Europe that Germany had occupied during the war. Seeing it makes Smith feel a sense of regret. He realizes that Germans also suffered through many hardships during the war. Meanwhile, after this incident, Ward becomes very depressed. The constant insults from the Europeans make him feel worthless. Margaret tries in every way she can to cheer him up. She spends a lot of time talking with him. One day, Margaret tells Ward that she loves dancing. That's the main reason she enjoys going to party. When she dances, she can forget all the pain from her past. In those moments, it feels like all the joy in her life comes back. Dancing gives her a reason to keep living. After hearing that, Ward says, "You know, soccer is a lot like dancing to me. Whenever I play, I forget all my pain too. Soccer is my biggest dream. That's why I'm truly grateful to your father." The two of them keep talking about these things. Just then, Bill arrived. Bill is the captain of Margaret's soccer team. He doesn't like seeing Margaret spending so much time talking to Ward. After Margaret walks away, Bill goes over to Ward and says, "Margaret is mine, so don't let me catch you anywhere near her again. If you try to get close to her, you'll regret it." Ward doesn't respond to a single word. The next day, the team has another soccer match. At one point, Ward catches the ball, but instead of passing it, he stops. He starts showing off a series of graceful footwork moves with the ball, almost like a dance. No one understands what he's doing. Even Margaret's boyfriend, Bill, is completely confused. But Margaret is the only one smiling. She realizes that Ward is using those moves to show his appreciation for what she said about dancing. From that moment on, a deep emotional bond begins to grow between them. The next day, Jesse comes to see Margaret, looking very excited. Jesse tells Margaret that the war is finally over, so all the German soldiers still being held in prison will soon be sent back to Germany. The real reason Jesse is so happy is because Ward is one of those German soldiers. Once he leaves, her boyfriend, Alfredo, will get his place on the team back. Margaret should have been happy to hear the news, but instead, she feels heartbroken. She doesn't want Ward to leave them. Over the past several weeks, she's developed a deep affection for him. When Ward's departure is announced, everyone in Margaret's family feels sad as well. But Ward tells them that he'll be staying for one more week. They have a very important match coming up next week. He wants to play in that game before he leaves. Hearing this makes Margaret and the entire family very happy. That night, they all enjoy dinner together with Ward. They laugh, talk, and have a wonderful time. Seeing the way Margaret behaves around Ward, everyone in the family realizes that she's started to fall for him. Even so, know, Margaret does everything she can to stop herself from getting emotionally attached. But Ward's kindness continues to win her over. A few days later, the long-awaited match finally arrives. Just like always, Ward delivers another incredible performance. Meanwhile, as Jack watches the match from the sidelines, he notices someone he knows in the crowd. The man has come to watch the game. He is actually the head coach of a major soccer team from Manchester. He's well known because he coaches one of the most famous soccer teams in England. Jack can't figure out why he's there, but the truth is, the head coach is looking for a talented player to join his team. That's why he came to watch the match with great interest. During halftime, after hearing the news, Jack rushes over to his players. He tells the entire team, "Today is the opportunity of a lifetime. This could be your chance to move up to a professional team. The head coach from Manchester is here to watch this match. If your skills catch his attention, your lives could change forever." Any player who gets the chance to play under him becomes famous all over the world in no time. After that, Jack walks over to Ward and says, "I know, Ward, in just 2 more days, you'll be leaving, but I don't want you to miss this opportunity." Hearing those words fills Ward with determination. A few moments later, the second half of the match begins. When the opposing team learns that the famous head coach is watching the game, they become even more focused. They start playing exceptionally well. They even try to figure out Ward's playing style. As a result, the score slowly begins to shift in their favor. Jack, the team's coach, becomes extremely nervous. He can't stop worrying. He feels like his team is going to lose today's match. Just then, he hears a huge roar from the crowd. When he looks toward the field, he sees that the opposing team has been awarded a free kick, but they fail to take advantage of the opportunity. Meanwhile, the moment Ward spots Margaret in the stands, he becomes completely focused on the game. He once again starts putting on an incredible performance. The match is now in its final minutes. Ward's team needs just one more goal to win. The players work together brilliantly. With a series of precise passes, they make their way toward the opposing goal. One of the players then pulls off a clever fake move. The opposing goalkeeper is completely fooled. At the very last moment, they score the winning goal. Jack is overwhelmed with joy. Even the crowd erupts in applause for the team. After such an intense match, they've managed to win once again. Ward delivers the best performance of the entire game. His outstanding play even impresses the head coach. So while everyone else is celebrating the victory, the head coach walks over to speak with Ward. He invites Ward to join the Manchester Football Club, but Ward is deeply conflicted. He doesn't know whether he should accept the offer. After all, he's supposed to return to Germany the very next day. So that night, Ward gets everything ready for his trip home. Even so, he's heartbroken about leaving Margaret and her family behind. Just then, Ward hears a German song playing somewhere in the distance. A song like that should never have been playing anywhere in England. Curious, he follows the sound until he arrives outside a club. When Ward gets there, he sees Margaret, her family, and every member of the soccer team. They've actually organized a farewell party for him. By playing a German song, they're trying to show him that they no longer hate him. Instead, they all care about him now. Ward becomes deeply emotional. At the same time, he's truly happy. Meanwhile, Margaret can't stop looking at Ward. And no matter how hard he tries, Ward keeps looking back at her. Without even realizing it, they've both fallen in love. Today, they can finally feel it. So they spend the evening talking together. They even share a dance at the party. Meanwhile, Bill watches all of this and becomes furious. He grabs Ward and pulls him outside. It's pouring rain. Bill says, "Didn't I warn you over and over again to stay away from Margaret? Margaret is mine. She's only supposed to be with me." Ward calmly replies, "I did stay away from Margaret. She's the one who came to me. Besides, I've seen the way you've treated her. You've treated her terribly. You've never respected her opinions or cared about what she wanted. Maybe that's why she's been pulling away from you." Hearing that, Bill angrily says, "You think I'm going to take relationship advice from you? Fine. Let's settle this with a challenge. You and I will have a shooting contest. Whoever wins gets Margaret." The two of them get ready for the challenge. Bill takes the first shot, but he misses. Ward stands there silently for a few moments. Then he turns around and starts walking away. Bill stops him and asks why he's leaving. Ward replies, "Margaret isn't a prize to be won, she's a person. She has her own thoughts and her own choices. I can't leave a decision about her life up to some competition. Whatever happens will depend on what Margaret wants. If Margaret truly loves you, then she'll choose you. After saying that, Ward walks away. He heads straight to Margaret's room. He knocks on her door because he wants to hear the truth from Margaret herself, whether she really loves him or not. But just then, Margaret's father, Jack, walks in. He tells Ward to go back to his room. After Jack leaves, Ward comes back to speak with Margaret again. But once again, Jack returns and calls Ward over. Then he says, "You and Margaret love each other, and I also know that you're a good man. I truly believe my daughter would have a wonderful life with you. But we also have to face reality. The war has only just ended. If I let my daughter marry a German man right now, can you imagine what people will say? What will happen to my place in society? That's why the two of you need to let each other go. I'm asking you, please end this relationship, because it can never have a future." Ward understands exactly what Jack means, so he decides that he has to forget Margaret. Lost in those thoughts, he returns to his room. But when he gets there, he finds Margaret already waiting for him. She had been sitting there, waiting for his return. Before Ward can say a single word, Margaret walks up to him, hugs him tightly, and tells him how deeply she loves him. Outside the room, Jack hears everything they say. Several years pass after that. In the present day, we see Ward and Margaret together. They're now married and living a happy life. Meanwhile, Ward's career has reached new heights. He's become a famous goalkeeper for Manchester's soccer team. Years earlier, Ward accepted the head coach's invitation and moved to Manchester. Since then, he's been playing for the Manchester team for many years. One day, Ward is being interviewed at a Manchester press conference. Many people from across Europe are there. Several reporters ask him about World War II. They want to know about the Jewish people in Manchester during the war and how they were persecuted by the Germans. Ward answers honestly. He explains how the Germans tortured Jewish people during the war, but then he starts to say that Germans suffered during the war as well, that ordinary people on both sides were victims. Before he can finish, one of the reporters interrupts him and says, "You knew that German soldiers were torturing innocent people back then, so why did you still choose to become a soldier? You could have lived as an ordinary civilian. Maybe you enjoyed hurting people too. Because according to information we've received from confidential sources, you voluntarily joined the army during the war." Ward tells them that, at the time, he did what he believed was best for his country. But the reporters keep trying to trap him. They ask one misleading question after another. Their goal is to paint him as a cruel and heartless man. Then one of the reporters asks, "We've learned that you received several Iron Cross medals. Why did the military award you those medals during the war? Surely you earned them by following orders and torturing innocent people." Faced with all these accusations, Ward becomes completely confused. By the end of the interview, he can't even answer some of their questions. As a result, everyone starts believing that Ward really did torture innocent people in England during the war. The story spreads everywhere. The news reaches Manchester, all of England, and eventually the entire world. People begin saying that Ward was a war criminal pretending to be a good man. In reality, a group of people deliberately spread these accusations to destroy his reputation, and they succeed. Even Margaret begins to misunderstand him. She starts believing that Ward was never a good man after all. But Ward repeatedly tries to explain that he never did any of those things. Meanwhile, the controversy over Ward spreads across Europe. People take to the streets to protest against him. They demand that he be punished, sent back to Germany, and banned from playing soccer. A few days later, Ward has another very important match. When he walks onto the field with his team, most of the crowd starts shouting insults at him. Many of them even chant slogans against him. Even so, Ward refuses to give up. He believes that the truth will eventually come out, but the constant abuse from the crowd makes him extremely nervous. As a result, he plays one of the worst games of his career. His team ends up losing badly that day. After the match, while Ward is leaving the stadium, a group of people attacks and beats him. Before long, the entire Manchester Football Club is thrown into chaos because of the controversy surrounding Ward. Everyone wants Ward to be kicked off the team. But just then, Jack and Margaret step in. They try to convince everyone that Ward is being falsely accused. They explain that he's truly a good man. For years, he worked incredibly hard to help the team succeed. Now that the team has finally earned worldwide recognition, would it really be right to throw him away like this? That would be a terrible injustice. During a war, everyone wants to protect their own country. Anyone would fight for their homeland. That's what a true patriot does. So Ward deserves one more chance. If they lose a shining star like Ward, the team will lose something truly special. In the end, Ward is given another chance. Meanwhile, after hearing Jack and Margaret speak, a Jewish man in the crowd is deeply moved. He becomes eager to watch Ward's next match. In that game, Ward delivers an incredible performance. After playing so poorly in the previous match, he had been carrying a lot of guilt, so this time, he gives everything he has. As a result, his team wins the match. The Jewish man is even more impressed by Ward's performance. He begins writing newspaper articles in Ward's defense. Gradually, people's negative opinions about Ward begin to fade. Everyone starts supporting Ward and enjoying his performances once again. Little by little, Ward's life returns to normal. A few years later, Ward and Margaret welcome a baby boy into their family. Meanwhile, Ward's career continues to reach new heights. Thanks to his outstanding performances in every match, his fan base keeps growing all over the world. As time passes, Ward's son also begins to grow up. Ward and Margaret finally start enjoying a peaceful and happy life together. They even take vacations to different places. Strangely enough, Ward often notices the same little boy around him, the child he saved from his commanding officer during the war. Then, in 1956, Ward faces the most important match of his career. Even the Queen of England and the Princess come to the stadium to watch the game. Ward is putting on another outstanding performance. His team is just moments away from winning 3-1. The crowd is so excited that the fans begin chanting, "Ward! Ward!" Ward is overjoyed, but suddenly, an opposing player fires a powerful shot, and the ball slams straight into Ward's face. Ward is seriously injured. He's rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. The doctors discover that a bone in his neck has been fractured. Even so, determined to help his team win this crucial match, Ward returns to the field and starts playing again. Despite the severe injury to his neck, he delivers an incredible performance. He even takes several more hard hits during the match. Everyone is amazed by his courage and determination. In the end, Ward and his team put on a fantastic performance and win the match. After the match, Ward is rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment. Because of his incredible performance that day, he's named Man of the Match. While lying in the hospital, Ward is reminded of the little boy he once tried to save, but the truth is finally revealed. Although Ward did everything he could to protect the child, his commanding officer eventually shot and killed the boy. Ward was powerless to stop it. Ever since that day, he has carried an overwhelming sense of guilt. When Ward finally regains consciousness, he calls his wife Margaret. Just then, an ice cream truck pulls up outside their house. Their son begs to go outside and get some ice cream. At first, Margaret tells him not to go, but Ward tells her to let him. As their son runs outside to buy the ice cream, he's struck by a passing car. He dies at the scene. Over the phone, Ward hears Margaret screaming. He immediately realizes that something terrible has happened to their son. At that very moment, while lying in the hospital, Ward imagines seeing the little boy he couldn't save during the war. The loss of their son leaves both Ward and Margaret completely devastated. Even after several months pass, neither of them is able to move on. One day, Ward visits his son's grave to leave flowers. Just then, Sergeant Smith arrives at the cemetery. He's the same man who made Ward's life miserable back in prison. But over the years, Smith has realized how wrong he was. He sincerely apologizes to Ward. He also offers his condolences for the loss of Ward's son. Smith tells Ward that he comes to this cemetery often. His wife and his 2 children are buried there. He lost all of them during the war. Smith encourages Ward to let go of the pain and return to playing soccer. Ever since his son's death, Ward has completely walked away from the game. Smith does everything he can to comfort him. But Ward is so deeply depressed that he loses his temper and starts fighting with Smith. Later that day, Ward tells Margaret, "Our son died because of me. This is the punishment for the sins I committed in the past. I couldn't even save one innocent little boy. That's why God took my own son away from me." Hearing those words, Margaret breaks down in tears and says, "We never know what life is going to bring, so please stop blaming yourself for everything. No matter how much we wish for it, we can't bring our son back, and we don't have to forget him. We'll keep his memory alive in our hearts forever, and together we'll keep moving forward side by side." Margaret's words finally bring peace to Ward's heart. That same day, Ward returns to his soccer team. Everyone is overjoyed to have him back. Soon, Ward and the team begin playing soccer again, just like before. From that day until 1964, Ward plays 545 matches for Manchester City. He becomes the first foreign player to be selected as the English Player of the Year. He is also honored with the Order of the British Empire. Later, Ward and Margaret welcome 2 more sons into their family. Together, they overcome every hardship in life and always stand by each other's side. Ward passes away in 1980. Margaret passes away in 2013. And that's where this beautiful story comes to an end. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to let me know what you thought in the comments. I'll see you in another brand new video. Until then, take care, stay safe, and stay healthy.